It's not very often you play a game from start to finish with a smile brimming from ear to ear for the entirety of a playthrough. I may be over exaggerating, but Ratchet and Clank Rifts Apart had that effect on me. From the get-go, the visual fidelity, gameplay experience, and overwhelming feeling of joy in the world of Ratchet and Clank was just breathtaking. Today, we're going to talk about my time with the game. I'll be avoiding spoilers and only focusing on the first couple of levels of the game, because I don't really want to ruin the experience and take that part away from you all. This game is a should buy for the PlayStation 5, but for now, let's talk about and review Ratchet and Clank Rifts Apart. Simply put, Rifts Apart focuses on fixing the whole of time and space from a dimensional destruction. Due to some shenanigans at the start of the game with Dr. Nefarious, he has managed to break reality with a Dimensionator, which is what our heroes are there to hopefully fix the entirety of the dimension. From the start of the game, we are introduced to brand new characters to the universe in Rivet. Rivet is like Ratchet, she is a Longbax, and she is also the last of her kind. What does the game do well? You say, well, the game does very well from a story standpoint. It's not forcing the narrative onto either one of the main protagonists. Rivet has her personality and motivations for what she does, as does Ratchet. Rivet feels a lot more journeyed. She feels like she's been through it all and she's trying to lead an uprising against Dr. Nefarious, unlike Ratchet, who just kind of feels like he falls into things and makes it up as it goes along. So Rivet is a great introduction to the series and the universe, and I'm super excited to talk about her, especially with the voice acting from Jennifer Hale. She did a superb job right here. The other great thing about it is Clank has a vital role in the game, but he also adds a lot of charm with his monotone robotic comments, and it's quite humorous at times. The three main characters are incredibly enjoyable to watch, and Rivet especially doesn't feel out of place, and she feels like a welcome addition to the franchise. Side characters such as Mr. Zircon, or Mrs. Zircon in this case, and NPCs around the world, they just ooze with personality, and it makes them more memorable as you get to know them more throughout the story. It's just kind of like finding characters from the previous games, and they're just different dimensional versions of them. And we get to see, I think it's Scrap, it's the guy that does the snowboarding or like the rift boarding that we get to see in the first couple of Ratchet and Clank games, and it is fantastic. Following along the journey, there is some special moments between characters, but injecting some laughter and charm into every cutscene and extra dialogue during combat or traversing the world is also welcome here. I enjoyed my time with Rifts Apart's story, and I'm sure you will too. The variety of worlds and engaging level design in Rifts Apart is just a joy to play around in. Even in the first few hours of the game, you go through staggeringly different levels that feel alive and are superbly rendered at 4K and seamlessly run. You're really showing off the power of the SSD here. The graphical fidelity is just simply insane and just like sickening at times at how good this game looks. And the most staggering part is there's an element of the game that really takes the full control of the SSD power of the PlayStation 5, which is switching between dimensions. There's a particular level where you hit a crystal which swaps from an area that's ravaged by space and the planet's just destroyed. It used to be a drilling colony, and then you hit that crystal and you're able to go to a time where the drilling colony is in full effect. The color palette changes, the way that the level plays is just changes. You go into other dimensions in order to get past certain sections. It's just so awesome, and I can't talk about it enough. It happens a lot throughout the game as you get ample opportunity to swap between dimensions, and also you use rifts to tether yourself around the world, which plays a vital role in platforming elements as well. Insomniac is well known for its ability to make movement fun and fluid in all of their games. Sunset Overdrive, Spider-Man, and the previous entry into the series of Ratchet and Clank 2016. Rifts Apart is no exception. The platforming and movement through combat, plus a great progression of movement tools as you get further into the game, wall running, dodging, and hover boots. They all feel really great to use and responsive, with the added feedback of the PS5's controller as well, with the haptic feedback. A point I haven't spoke about is the variety of levels and types of levels. Some areas of the game are much more tighter, more focused on the platforming elements and just the fidelity and the compactness of them, but have multiple of these in different areas, like different small sections that you go to via movement parts. And then there's just one level where I've played so far, which is just super open world. It's very open, giving you access to, different areas as well as you progress. So the movement tools feel very good there as well. It's a very linear game, but it has great expansive levels rather than just kind of like, here's a level, there's a level, there's a level. You go to a planet, do a task, you get through it, and you just have a great set piece at the end of each of the levels, which really caps off the planet. And I just absolutely adore the level design in this game. Add into that a couple of great puzzle elements, one being like a focus around Clank's dimensional ability, where you are doing like different puzzles, which is kind of like Lemmings in a sense. And then there's a mini hacking game where you play as Glitch, which is like a little spider that goes in and is defeating viruses, and they all feel well crafted, and there's just so much love and attention that's given to them, but they don't feel out of place. They feel like they play into the world and are just great fun to play through. Now we get onto the extra fun part of the game, and that is combat. There is a big variety of weapons in Rifts Apart. They all feel unique and fit very much into the quirky nature of the game. You start off with a standard blaster pistol, but you get access very quickly to grenades, a shotgun, rocket launcher, and each element of the weapons have something unique to them. A homing missile, crowd control grenades, a lightning bolt gun that chains enemies together to do more damage, different animations that are tied into each of the weapons, animations that alter the enemies when they are hit by different weapons. You can turn someone into a pixel version with a pixel gun, which turns into an 8-bit model, which is fantastic. It's just so staggeringly good, and hats off to the team at Insomniac for the variety and level of detail and love for each weapon that you have in your arsenal. Having access to all of these weapons means there's a fantastic upgrade system. The more you use a weapon, the higher its level goes up. So you go up to like level 5, which is the max for all of the weapons in the game. But it doesn't stop there. As you progress throughout the game, you will come across something called Rarementarium, which is like crystals. These will give you the ability to upgrade your weapons on a hexagonal grid-based system. The more sections you unlock, the more variety and better damaging the weapons become. They have different extra added ammo or fire rate or whatever that may be, whatever the upgrade may be. And it's not just, you get these things and it doesn't really play into it. The game incentivizes you to go and search these out into the level and explore the world that you have, or explore the levels that you have, and it's just fantastic. Instead of just getting the bolts to get a new weapon, you're going and searching for this Rarementarium too. With such a variety of things, I would spend my time leveling up different guns to see how they would perform, how powerful they would get, and I have multiple weapons maxed out in my playthrough, and this is just such a fun system, but it's also really simple to understand. Encounter variation and enemy types are also a really neat aspect of the game. Robots from nefarious industries will come after you, various lasers, there's pirates, there's like these lizard creatures, there's also the fauna of the indigenous planets that you go to. The fights are challenging, especially I was on a higher difficulty, but also you get like mini bosses as well that are not out of place. You kind of fight them towards the end of certain sections, which is great. And I just had a great time with the particle effects, the amount of enemies on the screen, and I rarely noticed anything going wrong with the frame rate in this game whenever I was playing. And I was playing on the fidelity mode, which is 4K 30 FPS, and it's just mind-blowing that all of these combat elements combine together and also are rendering out the character models and the whole world, and it still makes for great, smooth and fluid combat. One of the biggest questions around Rifts Apart is the £70 price tag on its head. Does it truly feel like a next-gen game? Is it worth the price? For me, you get what you pay for when it comes to really pushing the ability of the PS5, 4K, 30 FPS, but also a really smooth screen with no stuttering or hiccups. It's just insane to me and something tells me this generation is going to be onto something special, and this is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to what games are going to be able to do. Now, if you're not in it for the graphical reasons, I would say honestly that Rifts Apart is a very, very solid game. But not only that, I feel like it's the best title on the PS5 at the moment. Is it a system seller? I'm not really sure. If I had to compare it to the other games that are on the PlayStation 5 exclusively, it's better than Returnal, and it's probably one of the better games on the system. Rifts Apart really hits home for me when I would class it as a truly next-gen experience. I want to say to you guys, if you want to go and see it for yourself, go and do it. Go and zoom in on the photo mode to Rivet's face and also Ratchet's face, and you'll see every individual piece of fur, and it's wonderful to see. But is it worth the price tag? I'm not really sure. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is a great showing, a fantastic and breathtaking visual showcase that really shows off the PS5 and what it is capable of. Set pieces that I didn't think would be possible in a while for the console's life cycle, and on top of that, it is seamless. As a gameplay experience, the combat is smooth and it has enough variety to keep it entertaining throughout the entire experience, and also keeping the characters and story engaging from start to finish. Ratchet and Clank for me is the best PS5 game out there, and at the moment it is a Game of the Year contender for me, and I'm super excited to see what other games are going to drop this year that could potentially move it from that spot. And it's a real statement for the future of games in this generation, and also for the PS5. And if you want to wait until it drops in price, the value of this game only goes up the cheaper that it is. So definitely go out there, pick up Ratchet and Clank. It's a strong recommend from me. That's my review though. If this video has helped you give an idea of the game and it's helped influence your decision to buy the game, then tell me down in the comment section down below. If you enjoy the video and you're new here, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps out the channel as we grow. Thank you very much for watching. As always, this has been Jimbo, and I'll see you guys next time.